It may surprise or even shock you to hear what I'm about to say, but if you're seeing this video right now, it's no accident. As a chosen one, you've likely wrestled with deep questions about your path and purpose, especially in the realm of relationships. Today, I bring a message that may shatter a nagging fear. God is not planning to leave you single forever. Actually, He told me to tell you something else entirely. Before we go further, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment 77 below to send a powerful signal out into the universe. Replay this video as often as you feel prompted. Doing so magnifies its energy. If you are truly a chosen one, you'll stay until the very end. If not, it's likely you won't stick around for these pivotal revelations. Chapter 1. Confronting the Fear of Eternal Singleness. Deep down, you might carry an unspoken worry that God plans to keep you single forever. Perhaps you've heard well-meaning people say things like, maybe singleness is your calling, or focus on serving God, not on relationships. While those intentions may be good, they sometimes feed a hidden anxiety that your dreams of companionship will go unfulfilled, leaving you to walk life's path alone. This fear, however, isn't rooted in divine truth. It's a projection of personal or cultural assumptions that don't align with the promises woven into your spiritual destiny. If you pause to reflect, you'll notice times God has led you into unknown territory, eventually providing answers that far surpass your expectations. Remember those prayers that once seemed unanswered? Didn't they find resolution in ways you never imagined? Relationship fears are no different. Sometimes God's timeline for romance diverges from what we expect. We see immediate needs and short-term loneliness. God sees long-term wholeness and the perfect moment to bring someone who complements our mission. Yet you can't ignore the pains of isolation. People you meet every day might inadvertently rub it in, asking intrusive questions about your relationship status or making assumptions about why you're still single. Meanwhile, friends and siblings get engaged, married, and settled, leaving you feeling behind in life's typical milestones. Despite your spirituality and sense of purpose, a nagging voice creeps in, whispering, "Is this forever?" This voice is doubt, distracting you from all the other areas God is blessing. Ironically, while you fret about being left out of a love story, God is orchestrating intricacies you can't yet see. Just as seeds remain hidden under soil before sprouting, so too does your future relationship remain concealed until it's ready. Rushing that process yields half-grown connections that collapse under life's weight. When you are a chosen one, your partnership must resonate with your high calling. It's not a typical union. It demands someone who respects your spiritual dimension, cherishes your gifts, and stands confidently beside you in life's battles. Consider, too, that your single season can be a crucible for refining personal growth. Alone time prompts introspection, helping you discover who you truly are. It clarifies your boundaries, your vision, and your values, so when the right person does appear, you're equipped to recognize them and foster a healthy bond. God isn't cruel withholding companionship. He's ensuring you're ready to meet someone who honors your spiritual blueprint. Each day you spend investing in your own healing, development, and spiritual pursuit is a day that strengthens the foundation for a future partnership. Most importantly, remember that God's delays aren't denials. If your heart yearns for a loving relationship, trust that this desire aligns with a higher purpose. A soul match might be closer than you think, already crossing orbits in ways you don't yet realize. And if you commit to walking in faith rather than fear, you position yourself for the exact alignment where hearts meet, forming something divinely ordained rather than hastily constructed. You won't be single forever. God's plan includes companionship that not only satisfies your heart, but also elevates your calling. Chapter 2. Recognizing your higher calling in relationships. As a chosen one, your approach to love cannot merely follow conventional formulas. Most people view relationships through a lens of social status or immediate emotional gratification. But for someone called to a divine mission, relationships serve a broader function, aligning with your higher purpose. You sense that love itself, particularly a destined partnership, can elevate your spiritual resonance, fueling both your private contentment and your public impact. God's perspective on your relationships is intricately tied to your calling. He knows that whomever enters your life intimately must not only accept your uniqueness, but also encourage it. You've likely had experiences where potential partners felt threatened by your spiritual gifts or found your empathy and convictions too intense. These attempts fizzled out, leaving you wondering what went wrong. But in reality, they were never meant to last. They served as glimpses, clarifying what you should and shouldn't compromise. In daily life, people might question your discriminating approach to dating. They'll suggest you lighten up or advise that someone is better than no one, yet your heart resists these half measures. Why? Because you understand your mission can't afford a mismatch. If your partner or spouse grows resentful of your devotion or your calling, tension ensues, draining precious energy from your cosmic assignment. Conversely, the right person will see your fire and fan it, participating joyfully in your spiritual pursuits. This idea might seem overwhelming, feeding the notion that you'll never find someone who meets these criteria. You may fear being too different to match with anyone, but God doesn't design your destiny to isolate you indefinitely. The same divine intelligence that infused you with purpose orchestrates a partner who not only tolerates your path, but walks it alongside you, forming a synergy that neither of you could achieve alone. Consider that your desire for a special connection, one that propels you to new spiritual heights, signals readiness. It implies you've matured beyond superficial flings or fleeting attractions. By fostering self-awareness and investing in personal growth, you become the kind of person who can sustain a profound union. Instead of seeking immediate gratification, you hold out for a love that resonates at the core of your being. This patience both intrigues and frightens onlookers, who might prefer simpler, faster solutions. In essence, your higher calling in relationships centers on synergy, two souls uniting to magnify each other's strengths while collectively serving a cosmic purpose. Such a partnership is rare, but not impossible. God wouldn't seed in you this longing if it were a mirage. Trust that the path you walk is preparing you for the partner who complements your energy, spiritual outlook, and life goals. In the end, you'll see that all the loneliness, growth pains, and perceived delays were preparing you to receive and nurture a love that transcends the mundane definitions of romance, transforming you both into conduits for divine grace on earth. Chapter 3. Tearing down the walls of doubt. Doubt can be insidious, especially when you spend months or years waiting for love while everyone else seems to settle down. You might internalize a belief that says, "This is my lot. Maybe God wants me alone." Over time, this narrative forms a wall around your heart, fortifying itself with each disappointment or unfulfilled hope. Tearing down these walls requires conscious effort, or they'll block any possibility of genuine connection. First, examine where these doubts originated. Was it heartbreak, a betrayal, or repeated near misses in love? Were you told in a religious or cultural context that your destiny was to remain solitary to serve God better? While well-intentioned, such narratives can morph into a limiting identity. You are more than a vessel for heartbreak or a blank slate for someone else's prophecy. Recognizing the roots of your doubt helps you dismantle them, piece by piece. Next, contrast these doubts with the deeper spiritual truths you've experienced. Reflect on moments God came through for you, defying logic. Perhaps He guided you out of financial crisis or led you toward unprecedented career breakthroughs. If He could do that, why not orchestrate the meeting of a soul who complements your mission? Aligning your perspective with these testimonies of divine faithfulness starts to crack the walls of disbelief. The tearing down process can be emotional. You might confront memories of humiliation, such as that time you confessed feelings and were rebuffed, or the season you invested in someone only for them to vanish. Rather than burying these hurts, acknowledge them. Feel the sorrow or anger briefly, then intentionally release it. Each letting go is like removing a brick from the fortress of cynicism that's been protecting you from more pain, but also obstructing future joy. People you meet every day might trivialize their emotional journey. They'll say, "It's just dating. Why so dramatic?" But for a chosen one, relationships have cosmic weight, and this match can derail your spiritual impetus. Conversely, the right synergy can amplify your divine role. Understanding this, the stakes intensify the emotional nuances. You're not just dating for companionship, you're navigating around where spiritual synergy shapes legacies. As the walls fall, don't rush. Healing is an unfolding process, much like how seeds germinate in quiet darkness before breaching the soil. You'll see signs that your heart is opening again. Perhaps you'll feel a flicker of excitement at a new acquaintance or sense an inner readiness to be vulnerable. Each small sign is progress. Affirm this progress daily, telling yourself, I release doubt, I welcome divine alignment. Over time, your emotional environment shifts from bleak resignation to hopeful anticipation. When the final bricks crumble, you'll stand in a cleared field, ready to build something new and beautiful. Doubt no longer dominates your thoughts, replaced by a flexible faith. This open space is precisely what God seeks. Soil where seeds of love can grow without the weeds of old fears. Embracing this liberated heart, you find yourself more receptive to signs, synchronicities, and connections that lead toward the fulfilling relationship your soul has always believed was possible. Chapter 4. Trusting God's Timeline for Romance. Once the walls of doubt begin to tremble, the next lesson focuses on timing. Many chosen ones struggle with patience, feeling that a romantic partnership must happen immediately to confirm God hasn't forgotten them. Meanwhile, each day without that special someone can be tinged with restlessness or insecurity. Yet trusting God's timeline for romance brings immense peace, the recognition that your union must align with cosmic flows, not just personal yearning. Consider how the universe orchestrates major life events. Seeds don't sprout overnight. Stars take millennia to form. Your life similarly unfolds in chapters. Sometimes you're immersed in a season of introspection or growth that requires solitude. Other times, a dense network of responsibilities or transitions would overshadow any budding relationship. God's timeline weaves these elements together for a seamless tapestry. Impatience disrupts this process, often breeding heartbreak when forced connections fail to align organically. It's natural to compare your timeline to others. Friends might already be engaged, married, or having kids. Family members may casually joke about your single status, intensifying your sense of being behind. But as a chosen one, your blueprint differs from standard scripts. When you see how your past steps and missteps led you to precisely where you needed to be, you can trust that your romantic destiny also follows a pattern. Delays aren't denials. They're carefully orchestrated intervals allowing you to refine who you are and what you truly desire in a partner. Furthermore, God's timeline ensures you cross paths with a companion who resonates with your calling. If you rushed into a relationship earlier, you might have compromised with someone who couldn't handle or respect your spiritual drive. Maybe you'd reduce your ambitions to match their comfort zone. By trusting divine timing, you ensure that when love appears, it's a nourishing bond rather than a draining one. People you meet every day tend to push immediate gratification. They interpret any pause as a sign that something is wrong. They might encourage casual flings or lower standards, thinking it'll stave off loneliness. But you, guided by a bigger picture, refuse these quick fixes. You recognize that settling short circuits your greater potential. If God's taking his time, it's because he's sculpting the perfect conditions for a partnership that adds, not detracts, from your purpose. Of course, trusting doesn't mean passivity, it means preparation. While you await the right person, you can cultivate emotional maturity, sharpen your communication skills, and deepen your sense of self. This active waiting not only improves your future relationship, but also enriches your current life. By pouring energy into projects, healing old wounds, or advancing your career, you align yourself with a high vibration lifestyle that naturally attracts a partner of matching frequency. In the end, embracing God's timeline for romance is a powerful act of faith, one that liberates you from fretful impatience. You anchor yourself in the belief that your love story is already written in cosmic ink. Each day is a page that draws you closer to that pivotal chapter, revealing that no matter how long the wait, the unveiling will be magnificent, tailor-made for who you've become through both solitude and growth. Chapter 5. Surrendering to love without losing yourself. When the time finally arrives and a promising connection blossoms, you face a fresh challenge: how to surrender to love without losing the essence of who you are. Many chosen ones hold a deep fear that relationships might stifle their individuality, especially after working so hard to nurture their spiritual path. But true love, especially the kind orchestrated by divine design, elevates rather than diminishes your selfhood. Surrender here doesn't mean sacrifice of your values or a blind merging with another's identity. It means opening your heart to collaboration and emotional vulnerability. You share your dreams, concerns, and spiritual insights, trusting that your partner will both respect and contribute to them. This emotional honesty can feel risky. Exposing the intricate layers of your inner world leaves you susceptible to hurt. Yet a partner destined to walk alongside you won't exploit that trust. They'll cherish it. People you meet every day might equate a relationship with compromise or losing freedom. They watch couples bickering or limiting each other's growth, concluding that partnership inevitably means tension. But your experiences taught you otherwise. A holy union stands on mutual encouragement, where each person retains independence while synergizing strengths. Instead of bondage, it's liberation. Your partner sees angles you might miss, supports you when you're weak, and celebrates your successes as if they're their own. Nonetheless, staying anchored in your spiritual identity remains crucial. Keep personal rituals, quiet meditation, journaling, or prayer a priority. Ensure you don't abandon the habits that nourished your soul before this person arrived. If they truly appreciate your uniqueness, they'll not only respect these routines but might be inspired to adopt similar practices. The idea is a partnership that resonates on multiple levels: physical, emotional, and spiritual. In surrendering to love, also accept the possibility of conflict. Two evolving spirits will inevitably clash at times, but these disputes, handled with mutual respect, become catalysts for deepening intimacy. Communicate openly. Remembering your intention isn't to win, but to harmonize your visions. Apologies, compromises, and gentle honesty keep the relationship strong, far from the destructive patterns you may have seen in less conscious unions. Embracing this love transforms your broader worldview. What once seemed like a lonely walk now appears as preparation, allowing you to develop a robust sense of self. Having established emotional and spiritual independence, you can merge with another without drowning your identity. This synergy is dynamic, fueling growth for both partners. Family and friends might marvel at how seamlessly you integrate companionship with your mission. Some might finally realize that all along, your single dawn wasn't God's way of punishing you, but his process of sculpting you into the ideal partner for someone equally prepared. At the core, surrendering to love is a bold step of faith, one that unveils new heights of happiness. Yes, you remain the chosen soul, intimately linked to cosmic wisdom, but now you also share your journey with someone who amplifies your strengths. In this merging, you discover that genuine companionship doesn't dilute your spiritual calling. It magnifies it, proving that when love is destined, it elevates both hearts, fueling them to soar beyond limitations. Chapter 6. Protecting your union from negative influences. Now that you've entrusted your heart to a significant partner, harmony becomes essential. Even destined relationships can falter under external negativity, envy from acquaintances, meddling relatives, or societal pressures. Safeguarding your union doesn't imply isolating yourselves, but it does demand vigilance. As a chosen one, you've seen how energies people project, intentionally or not, can erode strong bonds. Negativity often creeps. Sincerely, a friend might question your partner's sincerity, sowing seeds of doubt. Family members clinging to old dynamics might resist shifts your new relationship brings. Neighbors or coworkers could project insecurities onto your love, calling it too good to be true. Left unchecked, these undercurrents can undermine confidence. The remedy? Open communication. Address concerns before they grow into silent resentment. From a spiritual angle, protective rituals or prayers fortify your bond. Whether daily affirmations, lighting a candle with shared intentions, or spending a moment in prayer together, these practices create an energetic shield around your union. They're acts of faith, not paranoia, and remind you both that your connection is divinely guided. Such consistent spiritual involvement underscores that your relationship is more than a casual bond. It's a sacred collaboration under higher purpose. Setting healthy boundaries is another must. If certain friends disparage your choices, lend as much influence they wield over your emotional space. The same goes for relatives who can't respect your decisions. You needn't sever ties, but you can control engagement. This preserves your mental well-being and prevents outside drama from penetrating your sanctuary of love. Practicing empathy toward skeptics can also diffuse tension. They might fear you're making poor choices, so they lash out or gossip in an attempt to protect you. A calm, clear explanation can transform doubt into cautious support. Even if skepticism remains, at least you've confronted it, easing its potential to poison your relationship. Finally, negativity can arise from your partner's side too. Encourage them to adopt similar tactics: honest dialogue, firm boundaries, and spiritual grounding. Tackling external challenges as a unit cements your bond, showing you operate together, not in rivalry. By protecting your union from negativity, you affirm its sacred nature. This isn't a routine partnership. It's a convergence of souls ready to do significant work in the world, both individually and collectively. Managing potential disruptions keeps negative seeds from taking root, allowing your love to thrive in the sunlight of mutual respect and a shared divine path. Chapter 7. Moving forward with confidence and joy. Now that you've accepted God won't leave you single forever, recognized your higher calling and relationships, torn down doubt, trusted divine timing, and learned to protect your eventual union from negativity, it's time to move forward with unwavering confidence and joy. The fears that once whispered you'd remain alone have no place in your new narrative. Instead, your heart brims with hope for what lies ahead. Moving forward involves living each day as if your prayer has already been answered. You don't feign denial of reality, but you hold a proactive expectancy. You make room in your life, emotionally, mentally, even physically, for the partner who will eventually join you. This might look like clearing old emotional clutter or adjusting habits that previously served only solitary living. By doing so, you create an environment conducive to receiving the love you know is on its way. Don't mistake this for forced positivity or sugarcoating challenges. Trials will still arise, but your perspective has shifted. You trust that obstacles serve as catalysts, refining and preparing you. Setbacks in your love life become lessons rather than curses. Each encounter, whether fleeting or deep, offers further clarity in what aligns with your spirit. Instead of sinking into despair when something doesn't pan out, you reflect, what can I learn here? This resilience stands out in a world that often equates a single rejection with a final verdict. As a chosen one, you also maintain your spiritual anchoring. It's easy to get swept up in fantasies once hope rekindles, losing sight of your broader purpose. Yet your alignment with a divine mission remains paramount. The relationship you eventually form is not a detour from that mission. It's an enhancement. By keeping your daily connection to prayer, meditation, or reading sacred texts, you ensure that romance enriches rather than distracts from your calling. Meanwhile, you radiate joy that can't be fake. This joy isn't the superficial cheer that vanishes under pressure. It's the deep, abiding sense that your life's weaving a tapestry of meaning. People sense it, and some will be drawn to discover how you hold such serenity. You become a beacon, showing that love, when entrusted to divine hands, emerges at the right time, in the right form, and blesses not only you, but everyone in your orbit. Family or friends who once worried you'd never find a partner might now watch, struck as the puzzle pieces come together. Improvements in your emotional health, blossoming career successes, and an aura of calm readiness. They see that your trust wasn't naive, but well-placed, rooted in the spiritual conviction that God indeed has designs for your happiness. When that special person finally enters the scene, it'll appear seamless to onlookers, though you and God know the countless steps it took to get here. So move forward boldly, chosen one. Carry the knowledge that love, aligned with divine purpose, transforms everything it touches. Hold on to your newly fortified faith, letting it guide each decision, each interaction, each dream. In this synergy of confidence and joy, you're not just awaiting romance. You're actively co-creating a future where your heart's desires meet heaven's perfect plan, fulfilling your vow that you'll never let doubt confine you otherwise again.